Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Trailhead Ranger NG, and today we will be doing this module that is Flow Builder Basics, and it has 4 units, and we will be talking about what all flows are there in our Salesforce org, and it is of intermediate level and it covers the Salesforce admin part, and we will be having 800 points to by covering all these 4 units of this module that is Flow Builder Basics. So let's get started with this. So our first unit is open, that is get started with business process automation. So it is talking about that what is the ways to automate a business process. So we can automate a process using process builder, workflow rules, validation rules, or flow builder. These all are the ways to automate a business process, but as per new releases, workflow rule and process builder are out of our ways now, so we will be focusing on flow builder. And we do have screen flows in flow builder. So what does screen flows do? In screen flows you can have screens to have automate a business process. Suppose first screen you want to show a user that user can input his or her name, then user can click on next button, then on the next page user can see its filled out details, and then here user can submit the form. So screen flows allows us to see the actions in screens. We can enable them to see the fields or anything. And auto launch flows, whenever a button is clicked, then a flow will be running, so that's why it is called as auto launch flows. Next we do have is approval process, as its name suggests that we will be sending a process or a form or any requirement for approval to senior manager, and then to its then to the manager of that senior manager. So like that we can have an approval process. And then lightning components, we did work on it a bit ago. So lightning components, we use Apex, HTML, JavaScript to have an interactive component, and then we can embed it in the Salesforce or our community builder or anywhere else. Then we do have visual force pages. It uses HTML and Apex code to build an interactive pages. So if we talk about behind the scene automation, so what happens when a record changes? So for that we do have flows such as record triggered flows, as its name suggests. So record will be triggering it. If we will be creating a particular record, a objects record, or updating its record, then it will be triggering the flow. Second, we do have schedule triggered flow. Again, as its name suggests, that we will be scheduling it. That is, suppose we want to run the flow in each week at Sunday midnight, then it will be running at that time only. We can run it at a particular time or frequency. Frequency means if you wanted to run it at two times a week or once a month, so that defines the frequency of a schedule triggered flow. The next we do have platform event triggered flow. So it will be running after a platform event will be triggered. So suppose we do have a platform event in our org, and whenever they get triggers, then this flow will be running. Next we do have data cloud triggered flow. So in this, whenever a change is made to data in data cloud, so it is specifically related to data cloud. So we haven't done the basic of data cloud, so you can just remember that whenever changes in data is made in the data cloud, then data cloud triggered flow will be running. Next is Apex. In Apex we write codes which can be reused. We do have util classes or other classes which we reuse in our classes, in our specific classes, so it can trigger the code as well. So now if we want to complete this, let's check. So for screen flow, we'll do right to left. So first I'll read this and then I'll drop it over here. Automation that runs when requested in an Einstein AI conversation or when a button is clicked, so that is auto launched. So I'll drop here. Next is automation that runs when a record is created, edited, or deleted. It is record triggered. A series of steps with assigned approvers. Approvers means approval process. An interactive page built with HTML and Apex code, that is Apex. Interactive page, so that is visual force page. Automation that runs at a time and a frequency you specify, schedule triggered flow. Next is an interaction that person info and ask your users question, that is screen flow. Next, an interactive component built with HTML and JavaScript code that you embed in a page or an app, that is lightning component. Code used to write reusable blocks of automation, that is Apex. Next is automation that runs when a platform event message is received, that is platform event triggered flow. So let's check. All are correct. So let's come to the quiz. First is true or false. One benefit of automation is that it can improve data quality and consistency. Yes. Second is which type of automation runs as a specific date and time, that is schedule triggered flow. Let's check our quiz. So it's done. Let's move on to the next unit. Next is go with the flow. So we'll be talking more detail about the flow. So first they are talking about Salesforce flow builder, Flownatic. So you must be aware of all these terms, and after we have created a flow and flow builder, it looks something like this. So if I'll give you a brief about this flow, what it is doing, that it is a screen flow. It's starting after giving some conditions. Then on contact info, it must be displaying some contact information, and then we are finding a record from content, whatever it will be matching with the fields we have defined in the screen flow. Then we are checking if it is updating or creating. Suppose whatever record we are getting, it's getting updated, so we have a decision to make if we are updating the existing record. So it will go this pathway. We'll be setting the contact ID and then update that contact. And if it's for creating new, then we will be creating contact. Okay, so let's move on. Know when to flow them. Yes, we know. Okay, so quick action. In quick action, we do have form. We can't do the conditional logic and actions there, and it does not require any code. In flow also does not require any code. It allows us to have form and conditional logic and actions as well. And in lightning component, we do have a code requirement, and it allows us to have form as well as conditional logic and actions. So let's come to the quiz. How does flow builder relate to Salesforce flow? Is a part of Salesforce Salesforce flow is a part of flow builder. Is the fastest version. Flow builder is an okay, I guess the first one is the correct. Let's check second. When should you build a flow? Every time you need to automate something, when you want to automate without writing a code, when you need to replace an assignment rule. So when we want to automate something without writing a code, let's check. So it's correct. Let's move on to the next unit quickly. So this one is meet flow builder. So in this unit, we are getting familiar with the interface of the flows. So you can find it in the setup by searching flows, and then if you will click on new flow, you will see this screen. It will ask you to which type of flow you want to create, that is screen flow, record triggered flow, schedule triggered, platform event triggered flow, or auto launch flow. So whatever flow you will select, after clicking on create, you will have this screen. Without this, this will come up after you will drag and drop from manager resources from left to right. So you can see the toolbox is here, that is consisting of whatever tools we have, including get records, update records, assignment, screen, and other things, quick action as well. Then canvas will show whatever we will be creating. And then in third, we do have button bar to run it. After creating the flow, we can run it. We can debug it if it is working fine for our giving input parameters. We need to activate it. There will be activate and deactivate button simultaneously, and we need to save it as well. So after this, this we will do in another unit where we will be creating flows to make you better understand. Now let's Okay, these are some keyboard shortcuts. For zoom in, control plus, zoom out, control plus minus, zoom to fit is control plus alt plus 1, and zoom to view is control plus alt plus 0, and switch focus is F6. So for Mac you can use command key in replace to control. Yeah, so here it is, and for alt there is a option key. Next is if we do have a requirement to collect information from users, so and we want user to type in, so we will use interaction, that is screen flow. And if we are looking for a matching record, then we will use get record. To check if it is found or not, we will check logic, that is decision element. If it does not exist, then we will go for create, that is one of the default path, and other path we will be creating, that is update the context. And later on we will rejoin these two branches into an action, and again we will show up a screen to show that yes, the flow is done. So let's come to the quiz. First is, what does a flow connector do? It tells Salesforce which flow to start next, resource to create next, which element to execute next, the flow which external database to connect to. So C should be the correct. Which flow element can send an email? Send email. So let's check. This one is incorrect. Let's B should be the correct, I guess. Yeah. So let's move on to the next unit. This one is the last unit of this module, that is learn about flow variables. Variable. Okay, so yes, why do we need to create a variable? We need to store information. Suppose if we do have a equals to, if we want to check if a equals to b, but b is our value to which we wanted to check to, and a is the records field. So records field we can get it from floor or, but b should be stored in a variable to check it against to. It can be a number, currency, text, or boolean. For boolean we do have global constant in there, that is true and false. Next, how we can create a variable in flows, we do have option to create it by clicking on new resources into the toolbox, and then we can select its data type. We can give its API name, description, and default value as well if you want to give it to. We can create constants as well. So yes, we do have a hands-on challenge for it. Let's launch our Trailhead playground. So it's saying that we need to create a screen flow and a boolean variable named at boolean. Next is number variable with decimal places 0, and a formula this. Okay, so let's see. First we will go to setup, search for flow, click on new flow. Now first we will be creating this boolean variable. So it's saying that we need to create a screen flow, so I'll select screen flow, then create. Then I'll click on this. I'll have the toolbox. Now I'll click on new resource. Resource type is a variable, API name is this, data type is again boolean, and default value needs to be given as false. So I'll click on the next is, we need to create a number variable by having its name as number. I'll click on new variable number, data type as number, decimal places as 0. Let's confirm it once. Yes, so I'll click on save for it. Then new, we do have to create a formula. API name is number formula, and decimal places should be 0, and formula is subtract 100 from the number variable. Okay, so data type is number, that is it should be returning 0, decimal places is 0, formula is subtract 100 from number. So you can insert operator from here as well. I inserted the resource, that is number, from here, 100 from the number variable. That's correct. So let's check syntax first. It's valid, then click on done. And last is we need to save this flow by giving its name as variables. So I'll save this. I'll click on activate as well. Okay, so let's check our challenge first. Because it does not provide any information related to start element, so that's why it's not connected to any element. It's only asks us to create variables, and which we have created. Let's check this challenge. So that's how we have completed our module, that is flow builder basics. So if you have got any question, please let me know in the comment section, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.